want you to tell me the truth.
You don't have to answer that question.
I'll answer the question. You want answers? I think I'm entitled. You want answers? I want the truth! You can't handle the truth!
You did!
Well, hello and welcome to the world of modern football and the FIFA Football Agent Talk Show with your host, yours truly, the content creator, the producer, the publisher, the player manager and the ex-FIFA player agent Mick from MUFC Realist Football TV. Now, I created this show for you, for the love of the game, to give you the football consumers an educational journey, meaning revealing the deepest secrets, the dramas, the intricate, the insights of the football crazy world, meaning really what goes on the pitch and off the pitch. In terms of player agents, footballers and clubs, it's kind of an educational insights of the transfer, the contracts, the legal issues that might sometimes arise, and sometimes for you as consumers is far more complicated than you can imagine. It ain't simply playing a fantasy football or playing FIFA career mode. That is why in this show we will take you on a journey where we shall focus on debunking the most significant and often controversial aspects of professional football, the role of football agents, the money, the fame, the glory, or sometimes the shame, the good, the bad, the ugly side, and the truth. Please enjoy the show and don't forget to subscribe. Here we go. Let's get into the game. How we're gonna do this? Considering I worked 15 years in this industry as a player manager and intermediate, I tend to bring some of my industry colleagues into the show who are FIFA licensed player agents to debunk really what's going on. Here we will talk about what football agents do, what really goes on, how they work, why did they become an agent, what are the current challenges, the dramatical transfer market, the window of opportunity, the new FIFA cap on transfer fee regulations, the money involved. Last but not least, the most important aspects of a football agent manager's role is managing the player's career, the expectation, as it is very short-lived. We will ask our guests the right questions and they will delivering the exact facts. Facts that you never really get from mainstream media, as this show is built on years of trust and integrity. Together we will debunk really what's going on the transfer market, when it happens, how it happens, why it happens, and adding on some extra spice with some difficult legal issues that can arise. For example,
Mick, brother, I've just got word, there's a meeting scheduled, I'm not too sure what time, between all three parties, Barcelona, the Frankie's camp and United. Apparently they're going to present Barcelona with the lawsuit papers.
The new FIFA regulations and proposed cap on agency is a new challenge and might affect smaller or bigger size agencies like Jonathan Burnett's or George Mendes's, or small emerging market engines in South America such as Jonathan Diarte Sports Management. How is this going to affect them to stay in business? The transfer fees, and what might the future hold for them, for both sides, small or big. We will be joined further down in the show with the leading agents and experts such as Jonathan Burnett, who is the co-founder and ICM Stella, one of the biggest global sports agents in the world, but also some leading football agents and players starring the show and promoting the players and agencies. So if you are an agent watching the show and want to get on, please reach out and do a request, we're always open for new agents to come and always looking for new proposals and new angles. But there's a big but. Before I start bringing in my guests, I feel that we need to have a serious conversation. We need to start at ground zero, debunking and educating you. What is an agent? What does an agent do? And why do you need a player agent involved in your career? Are you ready? Here we go. And in order to do so, we need to go back in timeline and the history of events to understand what shaped today's market of the modern football agent. Here we go.
In April 2021, Kevin De Bruyne sat alone in a room with Manchester City's top negotiators. His father and lawyers were with him on FaceTime, but his longtime agent was languishing in a Belgian prison cell. De Bruyne had one simple goal: to get a pay rise. The weirdest part of this whole story is the fact that De Bruyne was even in the room. Most footballers are busy getting massages or spray tans while their agent takes over contract negotiations. But De Bruyne was successful. The revelation that he had managed to negotiate a new contract without an agent shocked the footballing world.
This leads us to our first educational question to debunk. Do football players really need an agent anymore, and why? Welcome to the world of the Football Agent Talk Show and MUFC Realist TV. This video is the ground zero tutorial. We will learn the rise of a modern CEO footballer that is radically changing the role of modern football agents. Now please enjoy this tutorial and we will ask Bigxby how this works. Let's ask Bigxby, what is an agent? Hello Bigxby.
I enjoy these messages.
Oh, you do?
The mini shows that play in between the main ones.
Oh,
Wait,
really?
those are commercials.
Yeah. All right. Hi, Bigxby.
Hello. And a tip of my metaphorical hat to you.
That's brilliant. Bigxby, what is an agent?
Sure. Here's what the internet says. An agent, in legal terminology, is a person who has been legally empowered to act on behalf of another person or an entity. An agent may be employed to represent a client in negotiations and other dealings with third parties.
Thank you. There we have it. Thank you, Bigxby.
For example, real estate agents will help someone sell a house by talking to potential buyers and handling all of the complicated paperwork. In return for this convenient service, they will take a small percentage of the sale price.
Perhaps everyone is kind of looking the headline, the figure, Agents get paid a percentage on the transfers. Hello Bigxby, can you tell me a little bit more about the functionality of a modern football agent and when did this profession come alive?
The idea of a football agent is a relatively modern idea, and FIFA did not officially recognize their existence until 1994. In 2002, there were a total of 179 licensed football agents in England, 82 in Germany, and 54 in Italy.
Interesting, Bigxby, thank you. Bigxby, how many agents are currently registered?
Fast forward to today, and agents have become some of the most influential people in football. Mino Raiola is a household name, and in 2015, FIFA estimated that there were close to 5,000 agents in world football.
There's a reason why Bigxby cannot find the accurate information. How many agents are registered in 2022? Because there are none. In 2021, all we know is there was about 18,000 international transfers done in men's football alone, not to even mention the women's football, because there's no records really to accurately find. Out of those 18,000, the majority was agents. Still, there's a lot of intermediates involved. That is why FIFA is proposing a new legislation to have properly registered and licensed agents, so we can track down on the fee, the money, the fame, and the shame. However, we will debunk that if you follow us in later stages in our episodes. Now, Bigxby, please continue.
The opening up of the European transfer market after the 1995 Bosman case saw fees and player wages increase at a staggering rate. In 1994, Chris Sutton became the first player in the UK to earn £10,000 per week. 7 years later, Sol Campbell signed a £100,000 per week deal with Arsenal. With the stakes rising and the money flowing, it was only a matter of time before agents started showing up. Agents became responsible for almost every aspect of a player's life.
You can be humble, but you need to be like a very strong negotiator, right? To push, you know?
Que necesitas, eres muy humilde, pero está claro que eres un puto crack.
Mafioso.
Mafioso. Ahí el que tienes la llave.
Very funny, Bigxby. Definitely mafioso. They do get paid, but what else do they do when they not getting paid? Is there anything else part of the job description?
Contract negotiations, public relations, sponsorship agreements, and financial planning are all within an agent's job description. Every aspect of a player's commercial life will go through their agent, all in return for a 5 to 10% cut of the earnings. Many agencies even offer what is known as the 360-degree service. Here, the agent will take over every task that doesn't involve playing football. They will organize the shopping, pay the bills, and even plan holidays. Some have been known to offer psychological support and will even mediate disputes between players. Mario Balotelli.
Obviously, all of my views on this are my own and don't necessarily reflect those of Omnisports. Jonathan's covered a lot of what we do.
Yeah, he did.
Obviously, as we've said, the public perception is on the end of a deal, but what goes on behind the scene is a far bigger operation. And as Jonathan said there, the one-man bands anymore, they can't possibly provide the full service that a player needs. So we see ourselves as kind of an extension to a player's family, and we sit in their circle and we look after their health, their well-being, both physically and mentally.
Mario Balotelli and his agent Mino Raiola enjoy an almost symbiotic relationship. When Balotelli noticed a fire at his house, he immediately called Raiola, who promptly advised him to call the fire brigade.
The money, the fame, the glory, or sometimes the shame. The good, the bad, the ugly side, and the truth.
In September 2020, Belgian police arrested Kevin De Bruyne's longtime agent. He was detained on suspicion of money laundering based on a complaint filed by De Bruyne himself. De Bruyne was now without an agent, months before negotiations began with Manchester City over a new contract. Instead of running into the arms of one of the super agents, De Bruyne made the unprecedented decision to represent himself. Things got off to a challenging start, with City offering a deal that would see the Belgian earning less per year than under his previous contract. Undeterred, De Bruyne hired Analytics FC, a data analytics company, to compile a report outlining how crucial he was to the success of the team. The City board couldn't argue with the data and finally offered De Bruyne the pay rise he deserved. This outcome hints at a monumental shift in the footballing world. Agents make their money on the promise that their skills and talents are the only way for players to ensure a fair wage, and De Bruyne has just achieved the same result on his own. People began to ask whether this is the beginning of the end for football agents.
That's a very interesting fact, Bigxby. Well debunked. But in reality, what does it mean to be a modern footballer?
In reality, the De Bruyne case has more to do with the changing nature of what it means to be a modern footballer.
Okay, that's a very interesting fact. But what about the social media, the image rights? What about the fame?
You will struggle to find a footballer that doesn't have their own personal brand. There's Memphis Depay with MDC, Jesse Lingard with J-Lings, Mesut Özil with M10, and our personal favorite Christian Fuchs and No Fuchs Given.
Wow, no fuchs given. What about sponsorships? I mean, I guess a football player's life is very short. I've just come across to think about Cristiano Ronaldo. What do you reckon?
Footballers see the age of social media as the perfect opportunity to leverage their increasing popularity to create clothing lines, esports teams, and even nutrition companies. This is very different from traditional endorsement deals. When Ronaldo is pictured with Nike, he is representing a product that is created by other people. With his brand CR7, he is selling his own values, ideals, and personality. Footballers are working hard at establishing these personal brands and know that if they are to be successful, they need to establish their own authentic voice.
It seems to me that the modern footballer nowadays is more conscious about making as much money as possible and increase his image, his branding, his popularity. What about if this doesn't happen? Is it common that if the agent can be fired?
Speaking on the decision to fire his agent, Bayern Munich midfielder Joshua Kimmich told reporters, "This is a conscious decision that I made last year. I have decided for myself that I want to stand up for my values and my views even more, and that I want to live up to my personal responsibility." As European sports becomes increasingly Americanized, it won't surprise many that Jay-Z could be behind the recent shift towards personal branding. The American rapper's management agency, Roc Nation Sports, has partnered with a number of European footballers, including Romelu Lukaku and Marcus Rashford. Their PR team even helped Rashford with his personal campaign to take on Boris Johnson. It is no coincidence that Roc Nation also represents Kevin De Bruyne. The idea to go without an agent likely originated from their PR team. What better way to show the Belgian as a strong, powerful figure than to have him negotiate alone with one of the biggest football teams on the planet?
Alright, that was very interesting facts, Bigxby, but you know, you're a computer-generated voice. You can't hardly tell feelings, can you? What about trust? You know, I used to work as a FIFA agent. I know trust is king, man. What do you reckon? I guess you can't debunk this one, can you?
With footballers taking on more responsibilities, they are re-evaluating their advisors and starting to build a trusted circle. Mohamed Salah recently replaced his agent with lawyer and personal friend Rami Abbas Issa. The pair first met when Abbas worked as a translator for Salah's former agent. As the only two Arabic speakers in the room, they quickly formed a strong friendship. Salah has had a rough time with agents. While struggling at Chelsea, he started to doubt his agent Oliver Kronenberg's advice and looked to quickly replace him. The fallout led to Salah tweeting out against Kronenberg, warning people to not believe a word he said.
Oh, you got me. I forgot about that one.
Another factor to consider is the cost of having an agent. For 2019 alone, agent fees totaled $653 million. Players have begun to question whether the agent's negotiation skills can truly justify giving up 10 or 15% of their wages.
If you continue like this, there won't be a second show. First episode, so wait a minute. Is this the end of the modern agent, or what's going on? What's going to happen with the big and small agents? Is it player power, or is it... what's going on? You tell me, you seem to know everything.
This is not the beginning of the end for football agents. Many footballers would be less successful without the influence of their agents. They can be fierce advocates for their clients' interests and are capable of handling the less exciting aspects of footballing life. That being said, there are growing concerns that agents are being paid too much. FIFA has proposed regulations that cap agent fees at 3% of a player's wages and plan to introduce a new licensing scheme to control agent numbers.
I mentioned this before about the FIFA regulations and the cap, so what you do now to summarize the whole thing, please go ahead. You already stole the shows. Please summarize the whole thing, okay?
De Bruyne's actions and the growing trend of self-representation among top footballers come from a desire to rebuild trust, take back control, and the realization that agents may not be as valuable as their incredible salaries suggest.
You know what? What's most valuable is for you to become a YouTube member to our channel. But unfortunately, we have come to the end of the show, and I feel obliged to summarize what we learned today. Basically, we looked at the role of the agent, why a player needs an agent, how much did they get paid, a little bit touch on the FIFA regulations that's upcoming, but also the player management side and the expectations of our player. So thank you for watching. I hope you really enjoy our content. Please like and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification to get the latest notifications of the latest videos and the episodes that's coming out. Also follow us on Twitter and all the socials. Thank you so much for your support. See you soon. Ciao.